Hey traders, today we're going to take a look at the market, starting with SPY, which represents the SP 500. So you can see I've drawn this trend line, which goes all the way back to 2020. So it started right after the COVID crash. We've pretty much bounced off this trend line. We have gone through it here, but come back and recovered, gone through it a little bit, but we bounced pretty much off this trend line. So this is what I've been watching up until now, and this is on the daily time frame. Now, if I flip over to the hourly time frame, we can see pre-market this morning. It's 8:21 Eastern Standard Time right now. You can see that we've started to bounce a little bit off this trend line, but obviously that's what we do. We go up, we come back down. So I wouldn't take this as SPY is starting to bounce yet. There's no clear signs of any bounce, but this is what we're looking at right now. So heading back to the daily, we can see we may be bouncing off this trend line. So this is what I'm watching first off. Secondly, I'm just going to turn off this trend line and turn on my EMAs. On the daily, we don't really have any EMAs that we can watch. So that's why I've drawn the trend lines. So if we flip over to the weekly though, we can see that we've been following this EMA 12 very closely on the weekly. We touch down, we jump off of it, we come back. We touch down, we have dipped down here, we dipped down to the EMA 26, then came back up. So the EMAs is what I'm watching on the weekly for even more clues. So if we do break the daily trend line, then I will zoom out and look at the weekly. So we can see right now that we are getting quite a bit of bear volume. Up until the end of yesterday, we did get some bull volume here. So if we flip back to the hourly, you don't really care about the after hour market volume because it's very little compared to what we see during the trading day. So we can see we've had more bears have been controlling things in the SP 500 for a little bit, maybe 5-6 days here. Lots more bear volume than normal. And finally, we see some bull volume starting to come back near the end of day yesterday. So that could be a sign of things to come possibly today. So that's something I'm looking out for. Now, if we look at QQQ, we can see something very similar. We've had a lot of bear volume coming in. Near the end of day yesterday, we saw some bulls showing up. Now, let's go over to the daily time frame here. It looks very similar to SPY, where, in all-time highs, lots of bulls controlling this whole thing, and now here the bears are stepping up to bat. Now looking at XLV, which is the healthcare sector, we can see even more weakness here in XLV. We've gone through on the daily, come all the way down to the SMA 50 here. So this, in the past, SMA 50 has been the spot where the XLV is bouncing. So perhaps today, because we're touching the XLV, we might see a little bit of bounce off that SMA 50. And looking at the end of day yesterday, some of the bulls did show up. Now looking at XLF, which is the financial sector, we can see that we're not as weak over here. And when everybody's fearful of a stock market crash and things like that, the most important thing to do is zoom out and look at all the sectors individually. Well, this sector's been holding up pretty good. We did come down a little bit, went back into all-time highs. Yes, we have been consolidating, but I don't see anything alarming in XLF. Back to SPY on the hourly, it looks like we might be getting some more bull volume this morning on pre-market. I'm going to keep an eye on this throughout the day. I want to see at least an hourly trend change before starting any positions within the SP 500. I will be updating on that throughout the day. That's it for this quick market analysis. If you're curious to know what I'm thinking during the day, you can always pop into the Discord. That's where you'll find me. Otherwise, if you like this video, please give me a quick like, and if you want to see more, please subscribe.